All right, welcome everybody. I'm excited to jump into this session. We're going to be talking about this hype to hard questions concept, one CMO's journey to operationalizing AI. I reached out to a friend, Ashley Emery. We happened to do a podcast. When was that? That's now like a year ago, wasn't it? No, 6 months ago. I don't even know.
6 months ago, I think.
6 months ago, and I thought she had a great talk track. It was fun to kind of hear her journey and some of the things she was doing. She's currently the CMO over at Velocity, and she has such an interesting story about how she's really tried to take both the company and her marketing team kind of forward in this AI journey that I thought it'd be fun to kind of bring her on and talk through that. So, Ashley, thanks for joining. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, she's got so many fun things. I barely snuck into her schedule, so I appreciate you taking the time. But before we dive into some of the cool things you've been doing and the lessons learned on AI, maybe just take a minute, tell us a little bit about what what you guys do over there at Velocity and your background.
Sure. So yeah, here at Velocity EHS leading our marketing efforts. And Velocity EHS is a company focused on making sure people get home safe for dinner, which is, I think, a really noble cause. So our focus is around sustainability, health and safety applications and tooling. And not necessarily an industry that you'd think of high tech or high kind of futuristic innovations, but we are really focused around AI innovation, and that also bleeds into internally within our actual go-to-market strategy. So for me, coming into the organization, my focus it has been all about how can I move us as fast and as quick forward in our go-to-market initiative. So really focusing on tools, people, and practices on driving innovation. AI has been a massive theme for me in the last 10 months. And that goes to full life cycle go to market journey with AI. Before that, I've spent time almost exclusively in B2B tech and SaaS, different industries, which is always fun. I'm always bouncing around to different verticals, but the practices all stay very much the same. So it's fun to kind of apply, whether it's, learnings from Amazon and AWS to here, taking the same practices into this organization. It's been fun.
Awesome. Yeah. It's like you learn marketing, you apply it in different places. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think at Velocity HS, to your point, maybe not traditionally the most tech forward industry, but I know you guys both internally and externally with your product are trying to kind of lead with this AI message and really kind of be disruptors in that. So was hoping to grab a couple lessons learned from you today. So would love to dive in on that front. Maybe we just start big picture for a minute. How do you, or how are you seeing the market shift as AI really reshapes all of our go-to-market strategies here?
That is a great question. I think of it in a couple of different facets. One is the most logical ways around efficiency. We're constantly as leaders of our functions, looking at how do we be more efficient? How do we drive more profitability? Those are the two things, at least what keep me up at night. So starting with the efficiency side, there's a lot AI can do to help understand driving efficiency within your teams, whether it's tools, practices, or your individual team's contribution to your team. There's a concept around like 10x developers or 10x programming that's been in markets for decades. This idea of just how do you be really skilled developers that can operate at 10x a standard developer.
Yeah.
So kind of taking that same idea of how do we 10x sales professionals? How do we 10x marketing professionals? AI is a key to unlock that by really creating tools, processes, and just a rhythm to drive efficiency. There's also on the other side of just efficiency, which is the most logical place think all marketing and salespeople focus on, is just how do we get more output?
Yeah.
The other thing that AI is really powerful on is creating better experiences for your customers. So talking about hyper personalization or just more dynamic experiences for your customers. And I think that's almost something that we forget as we look at implementing AI. It's how do we get faster responses? If a prospect or a customer wants to get a hold of you, how do you make it so they can get their questions answered as quick as possible, or they can get to a sales rep as fast as possible?
Yeah.
Also, how do you create really curated personal experiences for them? It's, this one to many or this one to everybody mentality is really going to shift with AI and creating material specifically for Gabe, for you at your organization, and make it seem really unique.
Yeah.
And then I think that the third is around the shift of how it will change how we operate as people. I think AI really forces us as individuals to focus on the strategy and storytelling and less on actual execution. So if
Yeah.
AI can do the execution work, our role is really leading and driving the story and the strategy that needs to be pulled through that go to market.
On that last one, that's something you and I have chatted about because I think you're right. You're right. There's just a lot of executional stuff that AI is going to pick up, and then people are going to have to adjust to that so that they move more into the outcomes or more into the strategy angle. Um, how have you seen organizations? How have you guys coached within your own organization to start to make that shift so that people kind of don't get left behind?
Mhm. I think bringing them along the journey is critical. I think, getting them on board, not to have it feel like it's a leadership driven, C suite driven push down. It needs to kind of come from the bottom up
Yeah.
and really empower your team to understand the value of AI. It's not about AI replacing, it's, with this 10x developer mentality. We're not trying to replace developers. It's about how to make yourself even more
Yeah. Powerful.
of a resource within your organization. So, really bringing in the team. For me, it was around finding some key um, stakeholders that would want to, early adopters, if you will,
Mhm.
and have them empower the journey internally. So, some individuals on my team have been leading the AI initiative,
Yeah.
thinking of strategies, what custom GPTs can we create, what tools can we bring in, and have them drive it versus me being the one that's saying, okay, we're going to
Always
do AI, and
pushing. Yeah.
here's
I like
the
that.
volume of output I need you to deliver.
Yeah, and look, when people feel like they're part of it, it does. I think it just makes it one, they obviously go with it, but two, it obviously makes it more successful. As you've kind of done these initiatives, both internal and external, mistakes or what mistakes are you seeing either yourself or other leaders making when they kind of start implementing these AI initiatives?
It's hard not to be so excited about everything in AI. Every time you turn around, there's a new tool and application, and it's easy to just want to do them all, implement everything. What's most shiny and attractive in this space?
There's so many squirrel those moments where you're just like, oh, squirrel,
Yeah,
new
yeah.
shiny object, right?
And there are so many separate applications that have AI that each of them individually are so attractive that you just
Yeah,
want to implement them all. I think it's really critical for you to step back and ask yourself, like, what is the problem I'm trying to solve? What's the strategy that's driving the need for AI? So you're not just doing AI for AI's sake,
yeah,
because if you implement a new tool that has AI in it,
yeah.
you think that's going to solve your go to market challenge. If it's not implemented correctly, if
Right,
it's
right.
not used across your teams correctly, it's going to just be another distraction, another disruptor in a very busy team that can't handle more. So,
Yeah.
setting a really clear strategy and understanding of what am I trying to solve, and then create really clear, like, a hypothesis, like, it's going to solve this, and then test against that continuously.
Yeah.
Like, AI is certainly not a this that we're always looking for, like, that silver bullet
I
of,
know.
like, what's going to solve my revenue challenge,
It's
what's
so
going to solve
true.
my marketing challenge. AI is not necessarily it can be, it's a tool,
Yeah.
but it's not the thing. It really needs a strategic foundation.
Yeah, look, I think people know that, but we get away from it, right? Because we're in board meetings or whatever it might be, and it's, what's your AI strategy? And it's like, hey, AI is a means to the end, obviously. And obviously if you try to put that in and just hope it, I love that. Yeah, it's going to solve all your revenue challenges. It's not quite doing that. It actually can make, it's like what they used to say with SaaS tools, like a bad process with a great tool actually makes the process probably even worse. You've got to think at it like a little more holistically, which I think makes a
Yeah.
ton of sense. Where do you feel like you found, you've posted some stuff about finding some wins with AI, some efficiency gains, etc. Anything you could share? Like where have you found some of the wins with AI as you've started down this journey?
I would say, and you and I have talked about this on the other podcast, but, I'm by no means an AI expert, and we are, talk about a maturity curve of AI implementation across go to market. If it's a rainbow of maturity, I'm still on this earlier stage. And what I mean by that
Sure.
is we're focused right now around just how do we drive efficiency is one of the things we're really focused on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, Easy wins and easy focuses on where my team is focused is creating custom GPTs. That's an
Cool.
easy easy win for companies is sign up for a chat GPT, get an enterprise license, roll it out over your organization, allow them to create
Love it.
or have your marketing team create custom GPTs to help your team move more quickly. A few examples just for the
Love
audience
it.
to
Yeah, please, please.
real
That would be amazing.
tangible examples is we're going through a rebrand right now, which
Yeah.
means new messaging, positioning, new look and feel, new
Yeah.
tonality. Everything is going to be new. So creating a custom GPT that has all of that in it already. So we train it with all of the documentation and then creating a tool, creating ChatGPT to essentially be our now brand monitor. So when something net new is created, we can put it in ChatGPT and just say, is this on brand? Is it not
Cool.
on brand? Is
So
it on
cool.
tone? Is it not on
I love
tone?
that.
That takes one person on my team not having to review every single asset to be
Yeah.
like, is this actually in tone of what we're trying to go forward on?
That's
Content
awesome.
creation is a really easy place to start. So if you creating repeatable tasks like webinars, a lot of our webinars are based off of incredible content we've already created, like an ebook or a white paper or
Yeah.
a conversation we've already had. So you can create GPTs to help you create like an outline for an upcoming webinar, draft your slide content, create your speaking notes, create your blog post, your social post. It can create a full package of content around your webinar with really like a paragraph prompt.
Hmm.
So rather than having four, maybe five individual content people across your team building the content, now you've got your GPT helping you draft that.
Yeah.
Another area, my last example for now, and if we can go more into it if you would like, but we're also working on building with our rebrand, but product based GPT. So creating really hyper specific by product. We have 5, 6, 7 complex products. Train it with all your product documentation, knowledge from your
Interesting.
resource center. And that can then be a tool for your sales team when they have a question around a product. They can go and ask the GPT to answer questions to better understand about the product. So it's
Yeah.
an enablement tool.
Yep.
It also can be that product based GPT can help your marketing folks create material. They're not product experts, they're
Cool.
marketing experts. So now your marketers can really leverage that custom product specific GPT to write an email or a white paper or whatever material it might need to be, but it's going to be really on tone, on brand, and understand the product better than probably myself or others in the
No,
organization knows.
those
The
are
custom
awesome.
GPT area is where we focused a lot of our time, of course, implementing tools and other things as well. But
I love some of those examples. Appreciate that because it makes it so real for the audience. I think a lot of people though have been stuck, and you and I chat about that in the past. They've been stuck on like a basic GPT, or maybe it's a free version. You guys obviously went ahead and kind of did it for the team, and it sounds like got enterprise licenses. But your ability to then kind of create either as a team or individuals some of these custom GPTs, I think some people get stuck between that. It's like everyone's using GPT or whatever Gemini, but they're not really getting to like that maybe a little more advanced. And let's just use the term folders or custom GPTs. How did you get that? Did you just encourage people to do it? Was that coming from you? Did you do a little game and have people like create some and then share them around? Like you've got some things I don't think everybody has. How did you get to that spot and over the edge of, yes, we all have GPT, but now we have a couple of cool things that everyone's using?
yeah, it's been a journey, but I think really again starting with building some key stakeholders in your organization
Yeah,
that are
with the
going to help
stakeholder.
drive it
Okay.
forward. It's
Yeah.
been kind of a groundswell of getting the team
I
on
love
board.
that. Yeah, I think that's powerful. I think that's
Creating training, having experts in AI come in and speak to the team. We had you join us in the team and talk to the team as well. So a lot of training in terms of AI training, AI prompt training,
yeah,
getting them to understand how to use it, how to ask it in the right way, how to get the right outputs, and then just getting the team excited about seeing the efficiency. For me, I feel like I use it all the time. And once you start using it, you start to be like, I don't know how I operated without it.
so
It's like every time I have a question, I'm like immediately going to ChatGPT
I
and
don't
ask.
I don't talk to my wife anymore without like coercing with my bots. So
I,
you're preaching to the choir. Sometimes you got to be sensitive with these significant others. But I kid, but no, it's super true. But the thing I think you said. A little weird with the wife thing, but I love the point on the training and stuff. I think what happens sometimes is, yeah, that these orgs I'm seeing are handing people some tools, whether it is, the Geminis or GPTs, and then it is kind of done and it's expected. And don't get me wrong, I still think there's some value, but where you got that committee, you got some of these power users, the training and the monthly lunch and learns, like you got to put some energy in the system to move from gear one to gear two. And I think that is, it's just sometimes brute force. Others just have, I think, thrown it and how come this isn't working? But I think you guys really
Mhm.
put the energy in the system.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
I found like the teams want to be a part of innovation. They
yeah,
want to drive better output. So having them be involved in the process and getting them excited. I talk to the team all the time, one-on-ones, and this is one of the things they're most excited about because it feel like they see the value in future proofing themselves, whether it's at this company or another company. They know that this is where the future of marketing and AI is
yeah,
going. So they want to lean in, they want to be a part of it. So if it feels like it's not being forced upon them,
yeah,
but they can help learn and grow and see where this will be an investment for their own future in their career. I think people are going to get excited about it, done in the right way with the right training and bring the right people.
yeah,
Like, don't have the CMO be the person that's driving it and having like really strict goals around it. Like, make it feel organic because it should be, and it's exciting. It's
yeah,
really exciting to learn and see how you can use AI. And I mean, what we're talking about here is this is relatively simple stuff. There's way more complex use
totally.
cases that we're talking about internally that I find it exciting. I think the team finds it exciting. So the right energy can really, I think, empower your folks.
Awesome. No, I love it. I love it. Want to get your thoughts on the future a little bit. And these are obviously just, thoughts, but as you think about as we go forward, thinking about, how do you balance a team where you have kind of tools and agents working together, or maybe more importantly, maybe I'd frame it like this, as you look over the next 12 months, are you seeing do you believe there will be certain roles or processes that are really going to be taken over more by AI, let's say maybe in 12 months from now?
That's a great question. I think of AI really as an executional, like an assistant and an accelerator
Yeah,
for your outcomes. It's not necessarily a replacement of your individuals. What it will really do is shift your individuals to be focused on strategy
yeah,
and outcomes versus focusing on execution. I'm sure so many people on the call feel like their team is bogged down in executional work.
sure.
It's like they're just trying to keep the lights on, get the next campaign live, get the next email written, get the next lead converted. The ability for them to really take a step back and say, what is actually driving performance? What campaign is really working? What personas are working? What industries are like really being able to take a step back and think strategically has at least been consistently across my career
Kind
a
of what you
challenge for
want.
the team. They're
Yeah,
always drowning in execution. So it's going to shift 100%. It's going to shift our team to move away from focusing on day-to-day
yeah,
execution
yeah.
and becoming more strategic. Areas within the go-to-market that I think it will uh, replace or enhance maybe at a greater risk is around lead scoring,
Mm,
um, account prioritization, really understanding who we should be targeting and who's moving through our funnel, the pre-qualification process.
yeah.
I think AI will definitely play a major role in there. You hear a lot around AI agents, Salesforce agent force. Like there's a lot happening around the agent side in that stage in the journey, meaning lead comes into your system, you have really complex, sophisticated AI, signals or workflows to be able to identify
Right.
if it's the right lead. Maybe you run an AI agent at that where it's creating custom messaging and
Mm,
it's running and trying to get that lead to move forward before you engage with a human. And then once somebody does a high enough action, it moves over to sales. So I think early stage funnel
I like that.
qualification and management is in if we're talking short term 12 months, I think that's going to be
That's
a
probably
huge
where you'll see
place.
it go.
Yeah.
Cool. I like that. I think that's super helpful. It's interesting to hear where leaders who are actually doing it kind of see the future going. Um, well, awesome. It's fun to kind of just hear some of your journey, some of the steps you've taken. I wanted to maybe end with, back to more of a high level question. If you could go back, it's now been a few years, I think, this AI journey for you probably, but if you had to give advice to the audience, what would you give yourself a couple of years ago trying to kind of get going on this AI journey, or you're at the beginning and wanting to obviously move quickly and become, stay abreast on all the latest and greatest. Any thoughts or feelings you'd kind of pass to the audience?
I would anchor back on what is the problem you're trying to
Yeah.
solve? What's the strategy, number one? And then number two is how do you get some quick wins with AI to get the team excited?
Cool.
Like we talked about the custom GPTs, like
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
an easy low hanging fruit place, and enable your team to drive those,
Yeah.
empower your team to create, like where are the repeatable tasks in your team that you could have AI help run. So I think really focusing on like easy, quick
Yeah.
wins, this idea around crawl, walk, run. You're not going to get to in hyper sophisticated, fully automated journey in your first go. Like start small, think, build a 12-month, 18-month kind of journey of what your AI strategy, where you want it to go, but start with some easy wins. Custom GPTs is such an easy place
I
to
like it.
start.
I like it. Yeah. Look, I think you can't eat an elephant all at once, right? You got to kind of take a small bite and find those impactful areas. Cool. Well, again, Ashley, really appreciate you taking the time. I know you got a million things going on here. If someone wanted to dive in, or maybe just ask a couple follow-up questions, any advice, any best ways to kind of get a hold of you?
Find me on LinkedIn. Send me a note on LinkedIn. Happy to chat. I love this conversation around AI or anything marketing. So reach out to me on LinkedIn.
Love it. Awesome. Okay. Well, again, Ashley, again, appreciate you taking the time. For the audience, have a fantastic day.